Hello and welcome back to a brand new video. This week I'm going to talk about why I think you should shoot film in 2021. We're going to go over 4 of the main reasons why I think you should shoot film in 2021 and why it's still relevant no matter what year or what day or what time you pick up a film camera. I still think it is so important in what it can do for your photography. So let's get right into it. The first reason I think that you should still shoot film is the fact that it slows you down. Film is one of those mediums that requires you to at least drop the pace of taking the image, and in so many other ways, film also slows you down. For example, the time that it takes to see an image after you take it is a form of slowing down as well. The fact that most film cameras are also manual, that is a really important part about this. I have the Miyar RB67, that thing is fully manual. I have the Bessa R2M, that thing is fully manual. There are light meters and such in the Bessa, but it still means that I have to change all of my settings for every photo that I take, or meter for them, which is just a slower process, and that I think is very important. The reason why I think that's so important is because slowing down makes us consider what we're actually doing in our photography work. Having that period in taking the image to analyze whether this is actually a good one, whether this is framed correctly, and you've only got 36 photos, so naturally you slow down and consider everything a little bit more, and consideration for your photography is so important. Because you're thinking about every frame, this actually makes you a much better photographer because you are taking your time, and that pretty much leads to a better photo because you're there, you're thinking about what you're doing, and you're starting to learn how your camera functions, how your settings work, how your light meter works, and just that extra time to think really develops your photographic eye and skills with your camera. Point number 2. Reason number 2 why I think you should still shoot film is that it separates you from the work. What I mean by this is that when you take an image, it usually takes most of us around a week or 2 weeks to see results from a lab, unless you are rushing 24-hour turnarounds, which I actually don't recommend you do. What I actually recommend is that you shoot a roll and sit on it for over a week. This is because that separation between you and those images means that you can start looking at them a bit more objectively. Separate yourself from the feelings of going out and shooting on that day. This is really good because sometimes you just think a photo is good because you were feeling good on that day, or it was just the best photo of that roll, but ultimately maybe it wasn't that good. And then some other photos that are in the roll that you weren't excited about could be gems, but because you have that emotional connection to the good ones, you won't look at the others. So that's why I recommend just having over a week off, and that will give you that separation that will make you look at your photos a bit more objectively and forget what it felt like on the day. So that way you can look at them and find some diamonds in the rough. Reason number 3 why I think that film photography is still so relevant is that I find digital is much easier to bring back to life. Now, film, yes, you can overexpose portrait to, 6 stops, but in a lot of other film stocks, they aren't that flexible. Especially in the black and white sphere, you really got to make sure that you nail your exposures because they will show. You can always bring it back in printing, there's so many other ways to do it, but you will see your mistakes, and that is point number 3, is film shows your mistakes. It's something really important in the learning process to realize when you've actually done something wrong and how to improve in the future. A good way to do this is keep a journal like I have here, and this thing just goes everywhere with me, and I write my notes in it as you take the roll, so you know what everything is exposed at, and it's just a little notebook like this. It goes in any bag, it's fine, can fit in a pocket if it's winter. Roll notes, get one of these. And I don't really need to tell you why showing your mistakes is a great thing to get better at photography. Obviously, knowing what you've done wrong is pretty crucial in getting better. So it's a great way to improve, and I would recommend it. Number 4 is just a general recap of all the other points. It's the fact that you should shoot film because it's still the number one way to get better at photography in general. Really develop your eye by having all of these things like separation, taking time with your photos, and being able to see your mistakes. They're just leveraging your ability to get better at a skill, which is photography. Shooting digital might be a draw card for so many people because you can take more photographs, but it comes at the cost of all of these 3 points that I've just made, that you are running too quickly, you have too many options to not see mistakes, and you have no separation from your photos. You just plug your SD card in and it's there. So that's why film is definitely the way to go if you want to become a better photographer. So I recommend that anybody that hasn't thought about it yet and wants to get into film should just do it. Go get yourself a dingy camera off Facebook Marketplace and just get the ball bouncing and get into it. Thank you for watching this video. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you. And if you haven't already, please hit the like button on this video. It helps recommend this to other people. I'd really appreciate it. And if you want to see more content, subscribe for more. Cheers.